श्री गुरु श्री युता पदकमलं श्री गुरुं वैष्णवांशं श्री रूपं जातं सहगना रघुनाथान्वितं त्वं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजना सहितं कृष्ण चैतन्य देवं श्री राधा कृष्ण पदां सागन ललिता श्री विशाखान्वितांश्च श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासदि गौरभक्तवृन्द श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद गदाधर शिवासदि गौरभक्तवृन्द श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासदि गौरभक्तवृन्द Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare 2 minutes. We'll start, Mataji. Okay, just a second.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll start with Mangalacharna prayers. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Jnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chaksharunmritam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvisesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasati Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Mukam karoti vachalam bhangam langayate girim yat kripatamaham vande Shri Gurum Denatarinam Paramananda Madhavam Sri Chaitanyam Ishwaram. Yeah, we'll start. Yeah, we are at 32nd page. So from this, let me read this. Najayate mreyate va kadachin nayam bhutva bhavita va na bhuyah ajo nitya shashvato yam purano na hanyate hanyamane sharire. For the soul, there is never birth nor death, nor having once been does he ever cease to be. He is unborn, eternal, ever existing, undying, and primeval. He is not slain when the body is slain. That is, it is saying about the eternal nature of the spirit soul and the qualities of the spirit soul. Right? This is in 2nd chapter, 20th verse. So we'll start from this paragraph. Yeah, Mata's sorry. Please start. Samyukta Mataji or Venala Mataji, you can start. 233 page. I'm just zooming.
Mataji, you can read Mataji. Like afterwards, I can read.
Okay. Just as God is eternal, we are also eternal, and when we establish our eternal relationship with the Supreme, complete eternal, we realize our eternality. Nitya Nityanam Chaitanas Chaitananam. God is the supreme living entity among all living entities, the supreme eternal among all eternals. By Krishna consciousness, by purification of senses, this knowledge will be realized, and we will come to see God. A Krishna conscious person has realized knowledge by the grace of Krishna, because he is satisfied with pure devotional service. By realized knowledge, one becomes perfect. By transcendental knowledge, one can remain steady in his convictions, but by mere academic knowledge, one can be easily deluded and confused by apparent contradictions. It is the realized soul which is actually self-controlled because he is surrendered to Krishna. He is transcendental because he has nothing to do with mundane scholarship. For him, mundane scholarship and mental speculation, which may be as good as gold to others, are of no greater value than pebbles or stones. Even if one is illiterate, he can realize God by simply engaging himself in submissive, transcendental, loving service. God is not subjected to any material condition. His supreme spirit, and the process of realizing him is beyond material considerations. Therefore, one may be learned scholar and still not be able to understand God. One should not think that because he is very poor, he cannot realize God. Nor one should not think that he can realize God because he is very rich. God may be understood by an educated person and misunderstood by one with great education. The understanding of God, like God himself, is unconditional, apratihata. In Srimad-Bhagavatam 1.2.6, it is stated, Savai pumsam paradharmo yato bhaktir adhokshaje ahataki apratihata yayatma suprasidati.
Yeah.
The supreme occupation Dharma for all humanity is that by which men can attain to loving devotional service unto the transcendent Lord. Such devotional service must be unmotivated and uninterrupted to completely satisfy the self. Cultivation of love of God, that is the definition of first-class religion. Just as there are three gunas or three qualities in the material world, there are various religions, each situated in one of the three modes. We are not, however, concerned with analyzing these religious conceptions. For us, the purpose of religion is to understand God and to learn how to love God. This is the real purpose of any first-class religious system. If any religion does not teach love of God, it is useless. One may follow his religious principles very carefully, but if one does not possess love of God, religion is null and void. According to Srimad-Bhagavatam, real religion must be ahaituki apratihata, without selfish motivation and without impediment. By practicing such religion, we will become happy in all respects. Should I continue?
Yeah. మాట్లాడేద్దాం కొంచెం ఒకటి 3 paragraphs 4 paragraphs లో చదివి అందరికి చదివినట్టుంటది. So what is ultimate dharma? Our dharma savai pumsam paro dharma yato bhakti radhokshaje ahaituki apratihata yayatma suprasidasi. So that is the real religion, that is the dharma. Ahaituki apratihata, without motivation and without any interpretation. That's what the bhakti yoga. Yes. Yeah, Samyukta Mate, read.
Yes, Prabhupada. Savai pumsham paro dharmo yato bhaktir adokshaje. Another name for God is adokshaja, which means one who cannot be seen by materialistic attempts. That is to say that God conquers all our attempts to see him materially. The word akshaja refers to experimental knowledge, and adha means unreachable. So God cannot be reached through experimental knowledge. We have to learn to contact him in a different way, through submissive hearing and the rendering of transcendental loving service. True religion teaches causeless love of God. It does not say, I love God because he supplies me nice objects for my sense gratification. That is not love. God is great. God is our eternal Father, and it is our duty to love him. There is no question of barter or exchange. We should not think, oh God, give me my daily bread, therefore I love God. God gives daily bread even to the cats and dogs. since he is the father of everyone. He is supplying everyone food. So loving God for daily bread is not love. Love is without reason. Even if God does not supply us our daily bread, we should love him. That is true love. As Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, Aslishyava Padaradham Pinastumam Adarshanan Marmahatam Karotuva.
I know no one.
I know no one but Krishna as my Lord, and he shall remain so even if he handles me roughly by his embrace or makes me broken hearted by not being presenting before me. He is completely free to do anything and everything, for he is always my worshipful Lord unconditionally. That is the sentiment of one who is established in pure love of God. When we attain that stage of love of God, we will find that everything is full of pleasure. God is full of pleasure, and we also are full of pleasure. Suhruran mitrari udasina madhyastha bandhusu saddusu apicha papeshu samabuddhir vishishyate. A person is said to be still further advanced when he regards all, the honest well-wisher, friends and enemies, the envious, the pious, the sinner, and those who are indifferent and impartial with an equal mind. Bhagavad-Gita 6th chapter 9th shloka. This is a sign of real spiritual advancement. In this material world, we are considering people, friends and enemies on the bodily platform, that is, on the basis of sense gratification. If one gratifies our senses, he is our friend, and if he does not, he is our enemy. However, once we have realized God or the absolute truth, there are no such material considerations. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Thank you, Mataji. Yes. Gomati Mataji.
Yes, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Dandavat Pranam.
Dandavat Pranam, Mataji.
In this material world, all conditioned souls. 1 minute.
Can I read, Mataji?
Yeah, please.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Dandavat Pranam.
Yes, yeah. Dandavat Pranam, Mataji.
In this material world, all conditioned souls are under illusion. A doctor treats all patients, and although a patient may be delirious and insult the doctor does not refuse to treat him. He still administers the medicine that is required. As Lord Jesus Christ said, we should hate the sin, not the sinner. That is a very nice statement, because the sinner is under illusion. He is mad. If we hate him, how can we deliver him? Therefore, those who are advanced devotees, who are really servants of God, do not hate anyone. When Lord Jesus Christ was being crucified, he said, "My God, forgive them. They know not what they do." This is the proper attitude of an advanced devotee. He understands that the conditioned soul cannot be hated because they have become mad due to their materialistic way of thinking. In this
Krishna conscious moment.
In this Krishna conscious moment, there is no question of hating anyone. Everyone is welcome to come and chant Hare Krishna. Take Krishna Prasada, listen to the philosophy of Bhagavad-Gita, and try to rectify material conditioned life. This is the essential program of Krishna consciousness. Therefore, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, Yare dekhe kare kaha Krishna upadesha amara ajnaya guruhana tara e desha. Instruct everyone to follow the orders of Lord Sri Krishna as they are given in Bhagavad-Gita and Srimad-Bhagavatam. In this way, become a spiritual master and to liberate everyone in this land. Chaitanya Charitamrita, Madhya Leela, Madhya 7.128. Yogi Yunjita Satatam Atmanam Rahasi Stita Ekaiyata Chittamam Nirasir Aparigraha. A transcendentalist should always try to concentrate his mind on Supreme Self. He should live alone in a secluded place and should always carefully control control his mind. He should be free from desires and feelings of possessiveness. Bhagavad-Gita 6:10. In this chapter, in which the Lord is teaching the principles of the yoga system, he here points out that a transcendentalist should always try to concentrate his mind on the Supreme Self. The Supreme Self refers to Krishna, the Supreme Lord. As explained before, Nityo Nityanam Chetanas Chetanam. God is the Supreme Eternal, the Supreme Living Entity, the Supreme Self. The purpose of the entire yoga system is to concentrate the mind on the Supreme Self. We are not the Supreme Self. That should be understood. The Supreme Self is God. This is Dvaitavada duality. Duality means that God is different from me. He is supreme. I am subordinate. He is great and I am small. He is infinite and I am infinitesimal. This is the relationship between ourselves and God as we should understand it. Because we are infinitesimal, we should concentrate our mind on the infinite Supreme Self. In order to do this, we should live alone and live.
One second.
Should live
And living alone.
And we should living alone means that we should not live with those who are not Krishna conscious. Ideally, this means that one should live in a secluded place like a forest or a jungle. But in this age, such a secluded place is very difficult to find. Therefore, secluded place refers to that place where God consciousness is taught. Can you continue, Prabhuji?
మళ్ళీ రౌండ్ రాబిన్ చేద్దాం ఓకేనా మాతాజీ
Okay, Prabhuji.
థ్యాంక్ యూ ఫర్ రీడింగ్
Thank
మాతాజీ
you, Prabhuji.
యా
Prabhuji, I will read. Yes.
రీడ్ చదవండి
The transcendentalist should also carefully control his mind, and this means fixing the mind on Supreme Self or Krishna. As explained before, Krishna is just like the sun, and if the mind is fixed on him, there is no question of darkness. If Krishna is always on our minds, Maya or illusion can never enter. This is process of concentration. The transcendentalist should also be free from desires and feelings of possessiveness. People are materially diseased because they desire things and want to possess them. We desire that which we do not have and we lament for that which we have lost. Brahmabhutam Prasannatma. One who is actually God conscious does not desire material possessions. He has only one desire, to serve Krishna. It is not possible to give up desire, but it is possible to purify our desires. It is the nature of the living entity to have some desire, but in the conditioned state. Once desire is conditioned, and one thinks, I desire to satisfy my senses by material possession. Purified desire is desire for Krishna. And if we desire Krishna, desires for material possession will automatically vanish. Sauchau deshe pratisthapya stiram asanam atmanah nati uchritam nati nicham chailanjina kushotharam tatraikagram manah krutva yata chittendriya kriyah upavishyasane yunjyat yogam atma vishuddhaye. To practice yoga, one should go to the secluded place and should lay kusha grass on the ground and then cover it with a deer skin and a soft cloth. The seat should neither be too high nor too low. And should be situated in a sacred place. The yogi should sit on it very firmly and should practice yoga by controlling the mind and the senses, purifying the heart and fixing the mind on one point. Bhagavad-Gita 6.11 to 12. In these verses, it is emphasized how and where one should sit. In the United States and other Western countries, there are many so-called yoga societies, but they do not practice yoga according to these prescriptions. A sacred place refers to a place of pilgrimage. In India, the yogis, the transcendentalists or devotees all leave home and reside in sacred places such as Prayaga, Mathura, Vrindavana, Rishikesha, and Haridwar. And in solitude, practice yoga where the sacred rivers like the Yamuna and the Ganges flow. So, how is this possible in this age? How many people are prepared to find such a sacred place? In order to earn one's livelihood, one has to live in a congested city. There is no question of finding a sacred place. But for the practice of yoga, that is the first prerequisite. Okay. Hare Krishna.
Yeah. Thank you, Mataji. Mali round robin. So now, Pallavi Mataji.
Yeah, Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Yeah, Hare Krishna. Yes.
Therefore, in this Bhakti Yoga system, the temple is considered the sacred place. The temple is nirguna, transcendental. According to the Vedas, a city is in the mode of passion and a forest is in the mode of goodness. The temple, however, is transcendental. If you live in a city or town, you live in a place where passion is predominant. And if you want to escape this, you may go to a forest, a place of goodness. God's temple, however, is above passion and goodness. Therefore, the temple of Krishna is the only saluted place for this age. In this age, it is not possible to retreat to a forest, nor is it useful to make a show of practicing yoga in so called yoga societies and at the same time engage in nonsense. Therefore, in the Naradya Purana, it is said that in Kali Yuga, when people are generally short-lived, slow in spiritual realization, and always disturbed by various anxieties, the best means of spiritual realization is chanting the holy names of the Lord. Harer Nama, Harer Namaiva Kevalam, Kalau Nastye Eva Nastya Eva, Nastya Eva Gair Anyatha.
Satiranyata. Yeah. Yes. Read, Mataji.
In this age of quarrel and hypocrisy, the only means of deliverance is chanting the holy name of the Lord. There is no other way, there is no other way, there is no other way. This is the solution, the grand gift of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. In this age, other yoga practices are not feasible, but this practice is so simple and universal that even a child can take to it.
Thank you. Yes, Mataji. We are into another section. Modern yoga. So this is the frequently we quote this. Hare Nama, Hare Nama, Hare Nama Iva Kevalam. Kalau Nasteva, Nasteva, Nasteva Katiranyata. 3 times చెప్పబడింది ఇక్కడ. 3 times they said. Nasteva, Nasteva, Nasteva. There is no other way. There is no other way. There is no other way. What is the way? Except to chant the holy names of the Lord. That is prescribed method in the age of Kali. Yeah. Chapter 4, moderation in yoga. Moderation in yoga. Let me read 1-2 paragraphs and over to you. In this 6th chapter of Bhagavad-Gita, the system of Sankhya Yoga, which is meditational Ashtanga Yoga system, is emphasized. Jnana Yoga emphasizes the philosophical process of analysis by which we determine what is Brahman and what is not Brahman. This process is known as the Neti process, or not this, not that. In the beginning of the Vedanta Sutra, it is stated, Janmadhyasya yataha, the supreme Brahman, the absolute truth, is he from whom everything emanates. This is a hint. And from this, we must try to understand the nature of the supreme Brahman, from whom everything is emanating. The nature of that absolute truth is explained in detail in Srimad-Bhagavatam. In the first verse of Srimad-Bhagavatam, it is stated, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Janmadhyasya yato anyatad itaratas arteshva abhigyaswarat tene brahma hrudaye adikavaye muhyanti yatsurayah tejo vari mrudam yata vinmayo yatra trisargom mrushaha dhamna sevna sada nirasta kuhakam satyam param dhimahi. O my Lord, Sri Krishna, son of Vasudeva, O all-pervading personality of Godhead, I offer my respectful obeisances unto you. I meditate upon the Lord Sri Krishna because he is the absolute truth and the primeval cause of all causes of the creation, sustenance, and destruction of the manifested universes. He is directly, indirectly conscious of all manifestations and is independent because there is no other cause beyond him. It is he only who first imparted this Vedic knowledge unto the heart of Brahmaji, the original living being. By him, even great sages and demigods are placed into illusion. As one is bewildered by the illusory representations of water seen in fire or land seen on water, only because of him do the material universes, temporarily manifested by the reactions of the three modes of nature, appear factual although they are unreal. I therefore meditate upon him. Lord Sri Krishna, who is eternally exist in the transcendental abode, which is forever free from the illusory representations of the material world. I meditate upon him, for he is the absolute truth. Anybody seen this observation actually? Water seen in fire? The little water will come in fire.
Yes.
Yeah. And land seen on water, we have seen, right? So if think about, this is the globe, this is Earth planet. So that Earth planet, just like football, roaming around sun planet. Think about this, how, these big oceans, land, think in a globe perspective, how these representations. So because see, that is the creation of Krishna. So how we are moving, so that's where time is changing, right? Now we started at 6:30, now 7:07, because the globe is moving. That's where time is changing. So how these representations, how this creation. So just think about it, how this works. Yeah, we'll start again reading. Mata is Venala Mata. Please read.
Thus, from the very beginning of Srimad-Bhagavatam, the absolute truth is proclaimed to be cognizant. He is not dead or void. And what is the nature of his cognizance? Anvayaditaratas charteshu. He is directly and indirectly cognizant of all manifestations. So, to the limited degree, each and every living entity is cognizant, but we are not completely cognizant. I may claim, this is my head. But if someone asks me, do you know how many hairs are on your head? I will not be able to reply. Of course, this kind of knowledge is not transcendental, but in Srimad-Bhagavatam, it is stated that the Supreme Absolute Truth knows everything directly and indirectly. I may know that I am eating, but I do not know the intricacies of eating process. How my body is assimilating, how my body is exactly assimilating food, and how the blood is passing through my veins, etc. I am cognizant that my body is functioning, but I do not know how these processes are working perfectly and all at once. This is because my knowledge is limited. By definition, God is He who knows everything. He knows what is going on and in every corner of His creation. Therefore, from the very beginning, Srimad-Bhagavatam explains that the supreme truth from everything is emanating is supremely cognizant. Abhijna. One may ask, if the absolute truth is so powerful, wise and cognizant, he must have attained this knowledge from some similar being. That is not the case. If he attains his knowledge from someone else, he is not God. Swarat. He is independent. and his knowledge is automatically there. Srimad-Bhagavatam is the supreme combination of both the Jnana and Bhakti Yoga systems, because it analyzes in detail the nature of the Supreme Being from whom everything is emanating. By Jnana Yoga system, one attempt to understand the nature of absolute truth in a philosophical way. In the Bhakti Yoga system, the target is the same. The methodology, however, is somewhat different. Whereas the Jnani attempts to concentrate his mind philosophically on the Supreme, the Bhakta simply engages himself in service of the Supreme Lord, and the Lord reveals himself. The Jnana method is called ascending process, and the Bhakti method is called descending process. If we are in the darkness of night, we may attempt to attain the sunlight by ascending in a powerful rocket. According to the descending process, however, we simply avoid the sunrise, and then we understand immediately. Should I continue, Prabhu, or should I? Through the ascending process, we attempt to reach the Supreme through our own endeavor. Through the process of induction. By induction, we may attempt to find out whether man is mortal by studying thousands of men, by trying to see whether they are mortal or immortal. This, of course, will take great deal of time. If, however, I accept from some superior authority that the fact that all men are mortal, my knowledge is complete and immediate. Thus, it is stated in Srimad-Bhagavatam 10.14.29. My dear Lord, a person who has received a little favor from you can understand you very quickly, but those who are trying to understand you by the ascending process go on speculating for millions of years and still never understand you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Mother. Thank you. So, Bhakti Yoga, what process we have? Descending process or ascending process?
Descending.
Descending process.
Descending process, and you all know what is the meaning?
No, Prabhuji. Actually, I was about to ask. అసలు ఇక్కడ ఏమంటున్నారు ప్రభుపాల్ గారు?
Yeah. Descending process, two things, Mataji. సంస్కృతిలో ఏమంటారంటే ఆరోహణ పంత అవరోహణ పంత అంటారు అనమాట. సో భక్తి యోగం మనం ఎక్కడ స్టార్ట్ చేసాం? ఫస్ట్ వి అప్రోచ్ స్పిరిచువల్ మాస్టర్, అంటే కింది నుంచి పైకి స్పిరిచువల్ మాస్టర్. ఎట్లా ఇప్పుడు మన పరంపరలో వి అప్రోచ్ అవర్ గురు మహారాజ్ అండ్ దెన్ శిల ప్రభుపాద్, దెన్ శిల ప్రభుపాద్ త్రూ భక్తి సిద్ధాంత సరస్వతి ఠాకూర్, గౌర కిషోర్ దాస్ బాబాజీ, దెన్ భక్తి వినోద్ ఠాకూర్, జగన్నాథ్ దాస్ బాబాజీ, 6 Goswamis, like that ultimately Narada Muni, Brahmaji.
Disciplic succession lo, okay.
Brahmaji, then ultimately అది. కాకపోతే కృష్ణ నుంచి చదువుకుంటూ వస్తాను నేను, కృష్ణ నుంచి బ్రహ్మ నుంచి నారద నుంచి అంటే అది లాంగ్ టైం పడుతుంది. అది మిలియన్స్ ఆఫ్ ఇయర్స్ ఇట్ విల్ టేక్ అండ్ స్టిల్ నెవర్ అండర్స్టాండ్. అందుకే వీ హ్యావ్ టు అప్రోచ్ ఏ గురు సో దట్ he has realized the truth by his teachings, by his experiences, by his realizations. We can understand that through that. That's what ఆరోహణ పంత అవరోహణ పంత. అవరోహణ అంటే డిసెండింగ్ ప్రాసెస్, ఆరోహణ అంటే పైనుండి కిందికి. అది. థ్యాంక్ యూ వెనెల మాతాజీ. సో in this previous paragraphs just want to add. సో మనం ఒక్కోసారి ఎట్లా ఫీల్ అవుతాం అంటే బికాస్ ఆఫ్ ఫాల్స్ ఈగో, నాకు అన్ని తెలుసు అని. మన బాడీలోనే ఏం జరుగుతుందో మనకు తెలియదు యాక్చువల్గా, రైట్? ప్రభుపాద గివెన్ 2 examples. ఎన్ని హెయిర్ మన తలలో ఎన్ని హెయిర్స్ ఉన్నాయో మనకే తెలియదు, రైట్? అనదర్ థింగ్ ఈజ్ హౌ దిస్ ఫుడ్ ఈజ్ డైజెస్టింగ్ వితౌట్ నోయింగ్. మనకు తెలుస్తుందా ఎట్లా జరుగుతుంది, అసలు ప్రాసెస్ ఎట్లా జరుగుతుంది ఇంటర్నల్గా బాడీలో, ఎట్లా ఈ ఫుడ్ తిన్నది బ్లడ్ ఎట్లా ట్రాన్స్ఫార్మ్ అవుతుంది, ఎనర్జీ ఎట్లా జనరేట్ అవుతుంది. అందుకే దిస్ బాడీ ఈజ్ ఎ మిషన్. This body is a machine which is given by Krishna. Every function is properly. Healthy means, our body is healthy means the every part of this body is functioning nicely. That means ఎన్నో విషయాలు మనకు ఇంకొక విషయం అంతకుముందు ఇక్కడ చదివింది, we cannot see our back in our entire body. Only 30-40% we are able to see, right? We cannot see what is going on, what is back. We need help. That mirror ఇంటర్నల్ గా లోపల ఏం జరుగుతుందో మనకు తెలియదు. ఫుడ్ ఎగ్జాంపుల్ ప్రభుపాద ఇచ్చాడు. సో ఎన్నో విషయాలు మనకు తెలియదు. వి జస్ట్ అండర్స్టాండ్ దట్ విత్ హ్యూమిలిటీ. ఎన్నో విషయాలు తెలియవు, మన బాడీలోనే ఏం జరుగుతుందో తెలియదు. సో యూ జస్ట్ హ్యావ్ టు డెవలప్ ద క్వాలిటీ ఆఫ్ హ్యూమిలిటీ. యా, ఎస్. ఐ థింక్ లక్ష్మీ మాత వుడ్ యు ఏబుల్ టు రీడ్? యు జాయిన్ నౌ. అందరూ
By mental speculation, one is more likely to simply reach a point of frustration and confusion and conclude, oh, God is zero. But if God is zero, how are so many figures emanating from him? As the Vedanta says, Janmadi Asna Yataha. Everything is generating from the Supreme. Therefore, the Supreme cannot be zero. We have to study how so many forms, so many infinite living entities are being generated from the Supreme. This is also explained in the Vedanta Sutra, which is the study of ultimate knowledge. The word Veda means knowledge and Anta means ultimate. Ultimate knowledge is knowledge of the Supreme Lord. So how is it possible to understand the form of Krishna if it is stated that God doesn't have eyes, limbs, and senses like ours?
Yeah.
How are we to understand his transcendental senses, his transcendental form? This is not possible by mental speculation. We simply have to serve him, and then he will reveal himself to us. As Krishna himself states in the 10th chapter of Bhagavad-Gita 10.11, Tesham evanu kampatham ham ajnanajam samaha nashayami atma bhavasto Gnana-deepena bhasvata. Out of compassion for them, I tell him in their hearts, destroy with the shining lamp of knowledge, the darkness born of ignorance. Krishna is within us, and and when we are sincerely searching for him by the devotional process, he will reveal himself. Again, as stated in 18th chapter of Bhagavad-Gita 18.5, Bhaktya mam abhijananti yavam yashashvi tatpataha tato mam tatpato gnata vishate tad anantaram. One can understand the Supreme Personality as he is only by devotional service. And when one is in full consciousness of the Supreme Lord by such devotion, he can enter into the kingdom of God. Thus, God has to be understood by this process of Bhakti Yoga, which is the process of Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu, hearing and chanting about Vishnu. This is the beginning of the Bhakti Yoga process. If we but hear sincerely and submissively, we will understand. Krishna will reveal himself. Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu, Smaranam, Padachayanam, Achanam, Vandanam, Dasyam. These are 9 different processes in the Bhakti Yoga system. By Vandanam, we offer prayers, and this is also Bhakti. Shravanam is hearing about Krishna and from Bhagavad-Gita, Srimad-Bhagavatam, and the other Shastras. Kirtan means chanting about his glories. Chanting the Krishna, Hare Krishna mantra. This is the beginning of the Bhakti Yoga process. Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu, Vishnu. Everything is Vishnu, and meditation is on Vishnu. It is not possible to have bhakti without Vishnu. Krishna is the original form of Vishnu. Krishnastu Bhagavan Swayam. Krishna is the original form of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. If we but follow this Bhakti Yoga process, we should be able to understand the Supreme, and all doubts should be removed. The Ashtanga Yoga process is outlined very specifically in the 6th chapter of Bhagavad-Gita, 6.13 to 14. Samam kaya shiro evam dharayan achalam stiraha Samprekshya Natikagram Swam Dishas Chanavalokayan Prashantatma Vigatabhir Brahmachari Vrate Sthitaha Manas Samyama Maschito Yuktashita Matkaraha. One should hold one's body, neck, and head erect in a straight line and stare steadily at the tip of the nose. Thus, with an unagitated, subdued mind, devoid of fear, completely free from sex life, one should meditate upon me within the heart and make me the ultimate goal of life. Yoga does not mean going to some class, paying some money, engaging in gymnastics, and then returning home to drink, smoke, and engage in sex. Such yoga is practiced by societies of which are cheaters and the cheated. The authoritative yoga system is here outlined by the Supreme Authority Sri Krishna himself. Is there a better yogi than Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead? First of all, one has to go alone to a holy place and sit in a straight line, holding one's body, neck, head erect, and stare steadily at the tip of the nose. Why is this? This is a method to help concentrate one's mind. That's all. The real purpose of yoga, however, is to keep oneself always aware that Lord Krishna is within. One of the dangers of sitting in meditation and staring at the tip of one's nose is that one will fall asleep. I have seen many
Yeah.
I have seen many so-called meditators sitting like this and snoring. As soon as one closes his eyes, it is natural to feel sleepy. Therefore, it is recommended that the eyes are half closed. Thus, it is said that one should look at the tip of the nose with one's sight thus concentrated. And the mind should be subdued and unagitated. In India, the yogi often goes to a jungle to practice such meditation in solitude. But in a jungle, the yogi may think may be some tiger or snake is coming. What is that noise? In this way, his mind may be agitated. Therefore, it is specially stated that the yogi must be devoid of fear. A de-skin is especially recommended as a yogasana because it contains a chemical property that repels snakes. Thus, yogi will not be disturbed by serpents. Whatever the case, serpents, tigers, or lions, one can be truly fearless only when he is established in Krishna consciousness. Due to perverted memory, the conditioned soul is naturally fearful. Fear is due to forgetting one's eternal relationship with Krishna. According to Srimad-Bhagavatam 11.2.37, Bhayam विद्याभिनिवेशतः स्यादिशद् अपेतस्य विपर्ययो स्मृतिः. Krishna consciousness provides the only true basis for fearlessness. Therefore, perfect practice of yoga is not possible for one who is not Krishna conscious.
Krishna conscious. Yes, Mata. Thank you, Mata.
Thank you very much, Krishna.
So here in these paragraphs, Krishna explained Ashtanga Yoga system, how a yogi practices the meditational process. This is a beautiful verse. 6th chapter 13 to 14, and all these Prabhupada explained. So ultimately, one has to remember why they this meditate, because Prabhupada writes now, right? Krishna consciousness provides the only true basis for fearlessness. Therefore, perfect practice of yoga is not possible for one who is not Krishna consciousness. See, to concentrate our mind, right? So that is what.
One question to me.
Yeah.
Vedanta Sutra, any specific rules and regulations are related to this.
ఏమవుతుంది?
Vedanta Sutra. అంటే అదేమో సంథింగ్ లైక్ బుక్ అంటే నాకు తెలిసి ప్రభుజీ వేదాంత సూత్ర అంటే చాలా సార్లు విన్నాను అకార్డింగ్ టు వేదాంత సూత్ర అదే కదా. సో ఇది ఏమైనా ఎక్కడ డిఫైన్ చేసి ఉందా లేదా స్పెసిఫిక్ గా పురాణ ఏదైనా దాని నుంచి తీసుకున్నారా ఎలా?
ఫస్ట్ ఏం చేశాడు మన వ్యాసదేవుడు? ఫస్ట్ ఆయన 4 వేదాలు రాశాడు అనమాట. ఋగ్వేదం, యజుర్వేదం, సామవేదం, అథర్వణ. ఉపవేదాలు కూడా రాశాడు. వేదాలతో పాటు ఉపవేదాలు, ఇంకా రకరకాల ఉపాంగాలు. ఓకే, ఇవన్నీ డిఫరెంట్ ఉంటాయి. మన SSR లో ఒక పెద్ద స్లైడ్ ఉంది, అది ఐ విల్ షేర్. అవన్నీ రాశాడు. తర్వాత పురాణాలు రాశాడు అనమాట. ఎన్ని పురాణాలు రాశాడు? 18 పురాణాస్ రాశాడు అనమాట. అకార్డింగ్ టు 3 modes: mode of goodness, mode of passion, mode of ignorance. ఒక 6 పురాణాస్ మోడ్ ఆఫ్ ప్యాషన్ లో ఉంటాయి, ఒక 6 పురాణాస్ మోడ్ ఆఫ్ ఇగ్నరెన్స్ లో ఉంటాయి. అంటే క్వాలిటీ, ఆ క్వాలిటీలు ఉండే వ్యక్తులకు అది బాగా నచ్చుతుంది అనమాట, ఆ టాపిక్స్ అవన్నీ, ఆ పురాణాలు. తర్వాత మోడ్ ఆఫ్ గుడ్నెస్ లో ఒక 6, అవి 18 పురాణాస్ అయినాయి. తర్వాత 108 ఉపనిషత్స్ రాశాడు. 108 ఉపనిషత్స్. ఇవన్నీ రాసిన తర్వాత వీటికి ఒక ప్రిన్సిపల్స్ అన్ని ఇందులో ఉన్నటువంటి సమాచారాన్ని అంతా కూడా ఈ ప్రిన్సిపల్స్ గా రాశాడు అనమాట. ఇట్లాంటి ఫర్ ఎగ్జాంపుల్ మనం చదువుతాం కదా, ఏంది తాతో బ్రహ్మ జిజ్ఞాస సూత్ర, అహం బ్రహ్మస్మి, దట్ ఈస్ 1 సూత్ర, రైట్? దట్ మీన్స్ కలిపి అన్నిట్లో ఉన్న సమాచారాన్ని కలిపి అట్లా ఒక సూత్రాల్లాగా రాశారు అనమాట, వేదాంత సూత్రాస్, రైట్? సో దాని తర్వాత ఇవన్నీ రాసిన తర్వాత కూడా అరే ఇంత చేసినా కూడా ఐఎమ్ నాట్ ఫీలింగ్ ఫుల్ఫిల్మెంట్, హ్యాపీనెస్ రావడం. ఏంటిది?
అందుకే భాగవతం
బ్రహ్మసూత్ర, వేదాంత సూత్రాస్ అంటే వెన్నెల మాతాజీ
సపోజ్ ఆల్ 18 పురాణాస్ ఇవన్నీ కలిపి వేదాంత సూత్రాలు అంటారు కదా.
మొత్తం కల్మినేషన్ అంటే ఓవర్ వ్యూ మొత్తం ఏమంటారు,
అన్ని వేదాలు
కలిపి అన్ని
4 వేదాలు పురాణాలు
మొత్తం
మొత్తం ఆల్ వేదాస్, ఉపనిషత్స్, ఎవ్రీథింగ్ conclusion is summarized and kept in that Vedanta Sutras. Mataji.
ఓకే. ఇంకా నేను ఎక్కడో చూసాను మాతాజీ, రామానుజాచార్యులు కూడా వేదాంత సూత్రాలకి భాష్యం రచించారు అని. సో అంటే అదేమో ఒక స్పెసిఫిక్ బుక్ లేదా పురాణము అని డౌట్.
సో ఇప్పుడు ఈ 2 సూత్రాలు చెప్పాను కదా మాది, అహం బ్రహ్మస్మి, అతాతో బ్రహ్మ జిజ్ఞాస. సో ఇది మొత్తం ఉంది, అహం బ్రహ్మస్మి మొత్తం అంత నాలెడ్జ్. ఐఎమ్ నాట్ దిస్ బాడీ, ఐఎమ్ స్పిరిట్ సోల్. అహం బ్రహ్మస్మి అంటే ఐఎమ్ నాట్ దిస్ బాడీ ఈజ్ నాట్ మైండ్, బట్ వాట్ ఈజ్ మైండ్? స్పిరిట్ సోల్ ఈజ్ మైండ్, స్పిరిట్ సోల్ ఈజ్ నేచర్. ఐఎమ్ నాట్ దిస్ బాడీ, ఐఎమ్ స్పిరిట్ సోల్. That spirit soul connects to Supreme. That is 1 sutra. And then Atato Brahma Jigyasa, human form of life is meant for self-realization, to understand what is self, what is the self nature, self-spiritual. That means to start to understand the spiritual knowledge and practice it. That's what ఇందులోనే మొత్తం ఉంది కదా. సో ఏం చెప్తున్నాయి ఇవన్నీ వేదాలు? సో దట్స్ వేర్ సింపుల్ ఒక ఫార్ములా లాగా. ఇప్పుడు మ్యాథ్స్ మనం చూస్తాం కదా, ఆ ఫార్ములా యూజ్ చేసుకొని మొత్తం సొల్యూషన్ అంతా, ప్రాబ్లం అంతా సాల్వ్ చేసినట్టు. సో అది ఓకేనా మాతాజీ? ఎస్. మళ్ళీ సంయుక్త మాతాజీ ప్లీజ్ చదవండి.
Yes, Prabhuji. The yogi must also be completely free from sex life. If one indulges in sex, he cannot concentrate. Therefore, brahmacharya, complete celibacy is recommended to make the mind steady. By practicing celibacy, one cultivates determination. One modern example of such determination is that of Mahatma Gandhi, who was determined to resist the powerful British Empire by means of non-violence. At this time, India was dependent on the British, and the people had no weapons. The Britishers, being more powerful, easily cut down whatever violent revolutions the people attempted. Therefore, Gandhi resorted to non-violence, non-cooperation. I shall not fight with the Britishers, he declared, and even if they react with violence, I shall remain non-violent. In this way, the world will sympathize with us. Such a policy required a great amount of determination, and Gandhi's determination was very strong because he was a brahmachari. Although he had children and wife, he renounced sex at the age of 36. It was this sexual renunciation that enabled him to so determined that he was able to lead his country and drive the British from India. Thus, refraining from sex life enables one to be very determined and powerful. It is not necessary to do anything else. This is a secret people are not aware of. If you want to do something with determination, you have to refrain from sex, regardless of the process, be it Hatha Yoga, Bhakti Yoga, Jnana Yoga, or whatever. Sex indulge is not allowed. Sex is allowed only for householders who want to beget good children and raise them in Krishna consciousness. Sex is not meant for sense enjoyment, although enjoyment is there by nature. Unless there is some enjoyment, why should one assume the responsibility of begetting children? That is the secret of nature's gift, but we should not take advantage of it. These are the secrets of life. By taking advantage and indulging in sex life, we are simply wasting our time. If one tells you that you can indulge in sex as much as you like and at the same time become a yogi, he is cheating you. If some so-called guru tells you to give him money in exchange for some mantras and that you can go on and engage in all kinds of nonsense, he is just cheating you because we want something sublime and yet want it cheaply. We put ourselves in a position to be cheated. This means that we actually want to be cheated. If we want something valuable, we must pay for it. We cannot expect to walk into a jewelry store and demand the most valuable jewel for a mere 10 cents. No, we must pay a great deal. Similarly, if we want perfection in yoga, we have to pay by abstaining from sex. Perfection in yoga is not something childish, and Bhagavad Gita instructs us that if we try to make yoga into something childish, we will be cheated. There are many cheaters awaiting us, waiting to take our money, giving us nothing, and then leaving. But according to Sri Krishna's authoritative statement in Bhagavad Gita, one must be completely free from sex life. Being free from sex, one should meditate upon me within the heart and make me the ultimate goal of life. This is the real meditation. Krishna does not recommend meditation on the void. He specifically states, meditate upon me. The Vishnumurti is situated in one's heart, and meditation upon him is the object of yoga. This is the Sankhya Yoga system, as first practiced by Lord Kapila Deva, an incarnation of God. By sitting straight, staring steadily at the tip of one's nose, subduing one's mind, and abstaining from sex, one may be able to concentrate the mind on the Vishnumurti situated within the heart. When we refer to the Vishnu form or Vishnumurti, we refer to Sri Krishna. Shall I read, Prabhupada? Okay. In this Krishna consciousness movement, we are meditating directly on Sri Krishna. This is a process of medical meditation. The members of this movement are concentrating their minds on Krishna. Regardless of their particular occupation, one may be working in the garden and digging in the earth, but he is thinking, I am cultivating
beautiful roses.
I am cultivating beautiful roses to offer to Krishna. One may be cooking in the kitchen, but he is always thinking, I am preparing palatable food to be offered to Krishna. Similarly, chanting and dancing in the temple are forms of meditating on Krishna. Thus, the boys and girls in the society for Krishna consciousness are perfect yogis because they are meditating on Krishna 24 hours a day. We are teaching the perfect yoga system, not according to our personal whims, but according to the authority of Bhagavad-Gita. Nothing is concocted or manufactured. The verses of Bhagavad-Gita are there for all to see. The activities of the Bhakti yogis in this moment are so molded that the practitioners cannot help but think of Krishna at all times. Meditate upon me within the heart and make me the ultimate goal of life. Sri Krishna says this is the perfect yoga system, and one who practices it prepares himself so be transferred to Krishna Loka. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mataji. Yes. Yeah, Prabhupada writes many times, that regulative principle is there, right? One of the regulative principle is illicit sex. The sex propensity is given to all other living entities. But human life is very rare, and human life there is a responsibility, not using that propensity, for recreation purpose. It is for procreation purpose. Recreation means enjoying, sensual enjoyments. That's not proper. That's breaking the regulative principle. That's why how Krishna's mercy invokes, because to control the senses. That's the thing, right? Why we follow regulative principles? Why we get the mercy? How we get the mercy? By controlling this, by following regulative principles, right? Why are they given? No meat eating, no illicit sex, no intoxication, no gambling. So illicit sex is many times written, Srila Prabhupada, that is only for having a nice children and who trained in the Krishna conscious process. So that's the thing. So this is two statements. We in our preaching we say that it is not for recreation, not for sensual enjoyment. It is for procreation. That's it. Period. We have to understand. Yeah, and that is one of the regulative principle. That way, Mahatma Gandhi example is given. So, whoever, controls that propensity, they have so much energy, so much concentration power that develops, and fix it upon Krishna and, nicely progress in the path of bhakti. Yeah, let me read this sloka and go to Mataji. Shirisha Mata, you want to read? Or go with Mataji? Yeah, let me read. Yunjan evam sadatmanam yogi niyata manasaha santim nirvana paramam mat samstam adhigacchati. Thus, practicing control of the body, mind, and activities, the mystic transcendentalist attains to the kingdom of God, for are the abode of Krishna by cessation of material existence. This practicing control of body, mind, activities, regulative principles are given that purpose only, to control these things. The practicing, right? Majorly 4 things, right? Meat eating is a problem. It destroys the mercifulness, karuna bhava, for all other living entities. Then 4 things, right? Satyam, Saucham, Daya, and Tapaha, right? Saucham anedi potadi eppudu if we engage in illicit sexual activities. So those dharmam 4 పాదాల మీద అంటే మనం see four regulative principles ఎందుకు follow అవుతాం మనము? To establish in a proper dharma, to begin with ourselves, to develop these qualities: satyam, saucham, daya, and tapaha. Cleanliness, truthfulness, austerity, right? Cleanliness, truthfulness, austerity, and then mercifulness. So that's the thing. So yeah, Madhavi, please start. Yeah, it is stated.
It is stated in Sanskrit in this verse, Santim Nirvana Paramam. That is, one attains peace though through Nirvana Paramam, or the
Cessation of material activities.
Cessation of material activities. Nirvana does not refer to void, but to putting an end to materialistic activities. Unless one puts an end to them, there is no question of peace. When Hiranyakashipu asked his 5 years old son Prahlad Maharaja, "My dear boy, what is the best thing you have thus far learned?" Prahlada immediately replied, "Tat sadhu manye Suravarya Dehinam Sada Samudvigna Diyam Asad Grahat. My dear father, O greatest of the demons, materialistic people are always full of anxiety because they have accepted as real that which is non-permanent. The word Asad Grahat is important because it indicates that materialistics are always hankering to capture or possess something that is non-permanent. History affords us many examples. Mr. Kennedy was a rich man who wanted to become president, and he spent a great deal of money to attain that elevated position. Yet, although he had a nice wife, children, and the presidency, everything was finished within a second. In the material world, people are always trying to capture something that is non-permanent. Unfortunately, people do not come to their senses and realize I am permanent. I am spirit soul. Why I am hankering after something that is non-permanent.
Good job, please.
We are always busy acquiring comforts for this body without considering that today, tomorrow, or in 100 years, this body will be finished. As far as the real I is concerned, I am spirit soul. I have no birth. I have no death. What then is my proper function when we act on the material platform? We are engaged in bodily functions. Therefore, Prahlad Maharaj says that people are anxious because all their activities are targeted to capturing and possessing something non-permanent. All living entities, men, beasts, birds, or whatever, are always full of anxiety, and this is the material disease. If we are always full of anxiety, how can we attain peace? People may live in a very nice house, but out front they place signs saying, "Be aware of dog," or "No
Trespasses.
trespasses." This means that although they are living comfortably, they are anxious that someone will come and molest them. Sitting in an office and earning a very good salary, a man is always thinking, "Oh, I hope I don't lose this position." The American nation is very rich, but because of this, it has to maintain a great
Defense force.
defense force. So, who is free from anxiety? The conclusion is that if we want peace without anxiety, we have to come to Krishna consciousness. There is no alternative.
Yeah. To address this anxiety, come to Krishna consciousness. There is no alternative. Anxiety in different levels: society level, individual level, nation level. Right? Prabhupada is giving them. America is a great country, but still, in order to protect, so this is very rich. Because of this, it is to maintain a great defense force. We don't know. I mean, protecting defense force, another unless they maintain defense force, their position, like great nation company, number one in entire world. That means they need to have a proper defense system to protect them. So this is one kind of anxiety on nation level that Prabhupada is saying. Okay, thank you, Mataji. Yeah, Gomati Mataji.
Yes, Prabhuji.
You are, Tanmay want to read, so let her read. Okay.
In order to attain peace, we must meditate on Krishna, and by body
And meditating and by ikde. Second.
And by meditating on Krishna, we cannot control the body. We can control the body. The first part of the body to control is the tongue, and next part is genital. When these are controlled, everything is controlled. The tongue is controlled by chanting and eating Krishna prasada. As soon as the tongue is controlled, the stomach is controlled. And next is genitals are controlled. Actually, controlling the body and mind is no other. Is a very simple process. When the mind is fixed on Krishna, has no other engagement, it is automatically controlled activities. Should always be centered on working for Krishna, gardening, typing, cooking, cleaning, whatever, by engaging the body, mind, and activities in the service of Krishna. Only the one attains the supreme nirvana, which abides in Krishna. Everything is in Krishna. Therefore, we cannot find peace outside Krishna conscious activities.
Very good. Thank you.
You want to read? Go.
I want to continue. I want the ultimate goal.
The ultimate goal of yoga is thus clearly explained. Yoga is not meant for attaining any kind of material facility. It is to enable the cessation of material existence. As long as we require some material facilities, we will get them. But these facilities will not solve the problems of life. I have traveled throughout the world, and it is my opinion that American boys and girls have the best material facilities. But does this mean that they have attained peace? Can anyone say, yes, I am completely peaceful? If this is so, why are American youngsters so frustrated and confused?
Very nice. Very nice. So, Tanmay, super. Thank you for reading. Idi malli chadunana. Let's do it this one. Highlight one.
Okay. When the mind is fixed on Krishna and has no other engagement, it is automatically controlled. Activity should always be centered on working for Krishna, gardening, typings, cooking, cleaning, whatever.
That is what Krishna consciousness. Kada? This is what Krishna conscious. Everything work for Krishna, and you are also Krishna conscious devotee. You are also studying. You are also helping your mom. You are also taking nice prasada. You are also doing chanting with your mom. So these are all when you are fixing your mind. We are fixing our mind by reading also on Krishna. Right? This is good engagement, right? No? Tanmay, very nice. Very nice. Thank you. Mother, you can continue from here.
As long as we practice yoga in order to attain some material facility, there will be no question of peace. Yoga should only be practiced in order to understand Krishna. Yoga is meant for the re-establishment of our lost relationship with Krishna. Generally, one joins a yoga society in order to improve his health, to reduce fat. People in rich nations eat more, become fat, and they pay exorbitant prices to so-called yoga instructors in order to reduce. People try to reduce by all these artificial gymnastics. They do not understand that if they just eat vegetables or fruits and grains, they will never get fat. People get fat because they eat voraciously. because they eat meat. People who eat voraciously suffer from diabetes, overweight, heart attack, yeah, overweight, heart attacks, etc. And those who eat insufficiently suffer from tuberculosis. Therefore, moderation is required. And moderation in eating means that we eat only what is needed to keep body and soul together. If we eat more than we need or less, we will become diseased. As this is explained in the following verses. Nati as asnas ana asnatastu yoga. She's laughing.
Me, Tanmay navutunda.
Yes. You read the sloka, Prabhuji.
Natyasnastu yogosti naichaikantam asnataha nachati swapna silasya jagrato naiva charjuna.
There is no possibility of one's becoming a yogi. Oh Arjuna, if one eats too much or eats too little, sleeps too much or does not sleep enough. Bhagavad-Gita 6.16.
Yeah, Yuktahara. This is beautiful verses.
Yuktahara viharasya yukta chetasya karmasu yukta swapnavabodhasya yoga bhavati dukkha. He who is temperate in his habits of eating, sleeping, working, and recreation can mitigate all material pains by practicing the yoga system. Bhagavad Gita 6.17. It is not that we are to starve ourselves. The body must be kept fit for any practice. Therefore, eating is required, and according to our program, we eat only Krishna Prasada. If you can comfortably eat 10 pounds of food a day, then eat it. But if you try to eat 10 pounds out of greed or avarice, you will suffer. Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you. Yeah. This is very beautiful verses actually from Bhagavad Gita. Krishna says that, right? There is no possibility of once becoming a yogi. Oh Arjuna, if one eats too much or eats too little, sleeps too much, does not sleep enough. And next, he is saying that regulating. He who is temperate in his habits of eating, sleeping, working, and recreation can mitigate all material pains by practicing the yoga system. It talks about discipline. Krishna talks about discipline, and these are the two verses. What is this discipline? This is the discipline. Krishna says that what needs to be done. That's the thing. Yuktahara viharasya, and then this one, 6 chapter 16. 6:16 and 6:17. Very nice verses. Right. I think I see Srikant Prabhu. Haribol, are you in a position to read?
Yes, Prabhu.
Chadam.
Food temperate.
Highlight Jason.
Okay, bro. Okay. So, in the practice of Krishna consciousness, all these activities are present, but they are spiritualized. The cessation of material existence does not mean entering into the void, which is only a myth. There is no void anywhere in the creation of the Lord. I am not void, but spirit soul. If I were void, how would body development take place? Where is this? If I sow a seed in the ground, it grows into a plant or large tree. The father is a seed, the womb, the body grows.
Yeah, Prabhuji, మీరు ఇంటర్నెట్ ఎందుకో బ్రేక్ అవుతుంది ప్రభు. హరిబోల్ ప్రభు.
Yes, Prabhu, I'm back.
Yeah, మీ ఇంటర్నెట్ ఇట్స్ ఓకే. చదవద్దా? చదవండి ఇంతవరకు చదవండి చూద్దాం. ప్రభుజీ
Screen రాలే ప్రభు, ఇంకా స్క్రీన్ షేరింగ్ అవుతుంది, ఇంకా రాలేదు నా స్క్రీన్ దగ్గర.
Loading. Internet issue. It's okay. Yes. Yeah.
ఎస్ ప్రభు, ఏం ప్రభు ఇప్పుడు వచ్చింది.
చదవండి.
Where is their void? In the 14th chapter of Bhagavad-Gita, 14.4, Sri Krishna states, Sarva yonishu kaunteya mutaya sambhavantiya tasman brahma mahad yonir aham beja pradapita. It should be understood all species of life were made possible by birth in material nature, and that I am the seed giving father. The seed is chosen by Krishna, placed in the womb of material nature, and many living entities are generated. How can argue against process? In the seed of existence body, how has this body developed? Nirvana actually means not accepting another material. It's not that we attempt to make this body void. Nirvana means making the miserable, material, conditional body void. That is, converting the material body into a spiritual body. This means entering into the kingdom of God, which is described in the 15th chapter of the Bhagavad-Gita, 15.6. Natad bahyanti suryo, na sasanko na pavaka, yad gatva na nirvatante, tad dhama paramam mama. That abode of mind is not illuminated by sun or moon, nor by electricity. One who reaches it never return to this material world. So there is no void anywhere in Lord's field. All the planets in the spiritual sky are self-illuminated like the sun. The kingdom of God is everywhere, but the spiritual sky and the planets thereof are all Paramdhama or superior abodes. As stated, sunlight, moonlight, or electricity are not required in the Paramdhama. We cannot find such a abode within the universe. We may travel as far as possible within our spaceship, but we will not find any place where there is no sunlight. The sunlight is so
Extensive.
extensive. So extensive that it pervades the universe. Therefore, that abode in which there is no sunlight, moonlight, or electricity is beyond this material sky. Beyond this material nature is spiritual nature. Actually, we know nothing of this material nature. We do not even know how it was originally formed. So, how can we know anything about spiritual nature beyond? We have to learn from Krishna, who lives there. Otherwise, we remain in ignorance. In the Bhagavad-Gita, in this Bhagavad-Gita, information of spiritual sky is given. How can we know anything about that which we cannot reach? Our senses are so imperfect. How can we attain knowledge? We just have to hear and accept. How will we ever know who our father is unless we accept the word of our mother? Our mother says, "Here is your father," and we have to accept this. We cannot determine our father by making inquiries here and there or by attempting to experiment. This knowledge is beyond our means. Similarly, if we want to learn about the spiritual sky, God's kingdom, we have to hear from the authority, Mother Vedas. The Vedas are called Veda Mata or the Mother Vedas, because the knowledge imparted therein is like that knowledge received from the mother. We have to believe in order to acquire knowledge. There is no possibility of acquiring this transcendental knowledge by experimenting with our imperfect senses. A consummate yogi who is perfect in understanding Lord Krishna, as is clearly stated herein, Shantam Nirvana Paramam Mat Samstram Adi Gachati. By the Lord Himself can attain real peace and ultimately reach the supreme abode of the Lord. This abode is known as Krishna Loka or Goloka Vrindavana. In the Brahma Samhita, it is clearly stated, Goloka eva nivasti Akhilatma Bhutaha, that the Lord, although residing always in His abode, called Goloka, with all pervading Brahman and the localized Paramatma as well, by dint of his superior spiritual energies. No one can reach the spiritual sky or enter into eternal abode of the Lord, Vaikuntha, Goloka Vrindavana, without properly understanding Krishna and his plenary expansion, Vishnu. And according to Brahma Samhita, it is necessary to learn from our authorized mother, Vedamata. Brahma Samhita states that the Supreme Lord is living not only in his abode Goloka Vrindavan, but everywhere. Goloka eva nivasati akilatma bhuta. He is like the sun, which is millions of miles away and yet is still present within this room. In conclusion, the person who works in Krishna consciousness is a perfect yogi because his mind is always absorbed Krishna's activities. Savaimana Krishna Padara Vindayo. In the Vedas, we also learn some eva vidhitvati mrityum eti. One who can overcome the path of birth and death only by understanding the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna. Thus, perfection of yoga is the attainment of freedom from materialism and not some magical jugglery or gymnastic feat to befool innocent people.
Okay, Prabhuji.
Okay.
Yes. Thank you, Prabhu, for reading. Yeah.
Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Yeah. What is our real home? The real home name? We'll conclude another 5 minutes. Matais, Prabhu, what is our real home? Where is our real home? How can we go real home? Hare Krishna.
Bhakti Yoga. Goloka is.
So Bhakti, this, how we go? How we go? How we go? I mean, real home is Goloka now, na? Back home, back to God. Okay. Then how we go? ఇక్కడే ఉన్నాయి యాక్చువల్గా 2 ఆన్సర్లు ఇక్కడే ఉన్నాయి పారాగ్రాఫ్లు చూసి చెప్పండి
Working in Krishna consciousness.
yes correct that's it beat bag సవైమన కృష్ణ పదార విందయోర్ అంబరీష్ మహారాజ్ చెప్తున్నారు ఆ శ్లోకం అది మొత్తం కృష్ణ కాన్షియస్ అంటేనే మొత్తం ఎక్స్ప్లెయిన్ చేశాడు ఆ శ్లోకాల్లో 3 శ్లోకాస్ ఉంటాయి సవైమన కృష్ణ పదార విందయోర్ ఆల్వేస్ యువర్ మైండ్ గివ్ టు కృష్ణ ఎట్లా చేస్తాం how can we give our mind to Krishna? By take a breath. Chanting ద్వారా ఓకే పల్లవి మాతది మీరు ఒక 2-3 పారాగ్రాఫ్లు చదివి let us conclude. Are you there, Mataji?
Okay, Prabhuji. Yeah, Prabhuji.
Yeah. And on the max 5 minutes, we'll see.
Okay. In this system of yoga, moderation is required. Therefore, it is stated that we should not eat too much or too little, sleep too much or too little, or work too much or too little. All these activities are there because we have to execute the yoga system with this material body. In other words, we have to make the best use of a bad bargain. The material body is a bad bargain in the sense that it is the source of all miseries. The spirit soul does not experience misery, and the normal condition of the living entity is his healthy spiritual life. Misery and disease occur due to material contamination, disease, infection. So, in a sense, material existence is a diseased condition of the soul. And what is the disease? The answer is not a great mystery. The disease is this body. This body is actually not meant for me. It may be my body, but it is a symptom of my diseased condition. In any case, I should identify with this body no more than I identify with my clothes. In this world, we are all differently dressed. We are dressed as red men, brown men, white men, black men, yellow men, etc. Or as Indians, Americans, Hindus, Muslims, Christians, etc. All these designations are not symptomatic of our actual position, but of our diseased condition. The yoga system is meant to cure this disease by connecting us again with the Supreme. We are meant to be connected with the Supreme just as our hand is meant to be connected to our body. We are part and parcel of the Supreme, just as the hand is part and parcel of the body. When the hand is served from the body, when the hand is
Severed.
severed from the body, it is valueless. But when it is joined to the body, it is invaluable. Similarly, in this material condition, we are disconnected from God. Actually, the word disconnected is not precise because the connection is always there. God is always supplying all our necessities. Since nothing can exist without Krishna, we cannot be disconnected from him. Rather, it is better to say that we have forgotten that we are connected to Krishna. Before of this forgetfulness, we have entered the criminal department of the universe. The government still takes care of its criminals, but they are disconnected from the civilian state. Our disconnection is a result of our engaging in so many nonsensical activities instead of utilizing our senses in the performance of our Krishna conscious duties. Instead of thinking, I am the eternal servant of God or Krishna, we are thinking, I am the servant of my society, my country, my husband, my wife, my dog, or whatever. This is called forgetfulness. How has this come about? All these misconceptions have arisen due to this body. Because I was born in America, I am thinking that I am an American. Each society teaches its citizens to think in this way. Because I'm thinking that I'm an American, the American government can tell me, come and fight, give your life for your country. This is all due to the bodily conception. Therefore, an intelligent person should know that he is suffering miseries due to his body and that he should not act in such a way that he will continue to be imprisoned within a material body birth after birth. According to Padma Purana, there are 8 lakh
8 million.
84 lakh species of life, and all are but different forms of contamination, whether one has an American body, an Indian body, a dog's body, a hog's body, or whatever. Therefore, the first instruction in yoga is I am not this body. Attaining liberation from the contamination of the material body is the first teaching of Bhagavad-Gita. In the second chapter, after Arjuna told Sri Krishna, I shall not fight, the Lord said, while speaking learned words, you are mourning for what is not worthy of grief. Those who are wise, laymen neither for the living nor the dead. In other words, Arjuna was thinking on the bodily platform. He wanted to leave the battlefield because he did not want to fight with his relatives. All his conceptions were within the bodily atmosphere. Therefore, after Arjuna accepted Sri Krishna as a spiritual master, the Lord immediately chastised him, just as a master chastises his disciple in order to teach him. Essentially, Sri Krishna told Arjuna, you're talking very wisely as if you know so many things, but actually you're speaking nonsense because you are speaking from the bodily position. Similarly, people throughout the world are posing themselves as highly advanced in education, science, philosophy, politics, etc. But their position is on the bodily platform. A vulture may rise very high in the sky, 7 or 8 miles, and it is wonderful to see him fly in this way. He also has powerful eyes, for he can spot a carcass from a great distance. Yet, what is the object of all these great qualifications? A dead body, a rotting carcass. His perfection is just to discover a dead piece of meat and eat it. That's all. Similarly, we have a very high education. But what is our objective? Sense enjoyment. The enjoyment of this material body. We may rise very high with our spaceships, but what is the purpose? Sense gratification. That's all. This means that all the striving and all this high education are merely on the animal platform. Therefore, we should first of all know that our miserable material condition is due to this body. At the same time, we should know that this body is not permanent. Although I identify with my body, family, society, country, and so many other things, how long will these objects exist? They are not permanent. Asat is a word meaning that they will cease to exist. Asan api kleshadi asadeha. The body is simply troublesome and impermanent. many people come to us saying, Swamiji, my position is so troublesome. But as soon as we suggest the medicine, they will not accept it. This means that people want to manufacture their own medicine. Why do we go to a physician if we want to treat ourselves? People want to accept only what they think is palatable. Although we are suggesting that this body is useless and is a form of contamination, we are not recommending that it be abused. We may use a car to carry us to work, but this does not mean that we should not take care of the car. We should take care of the car for it to carry us to and fro, but we should not become so attached to it that we are polishing it every day. We must utilize this material body in order to execute Krishna consciousness and to this end, we should keep it fit and healthy, but we should not become too attached to it. This is called Yukta Vairagya. The body should not be neglected. We should bathe regularly, eat regularly, sleep regularly in order to keep mind and body healthy. Some people say that body should be renounced and that we should take some drugs and abandon ourselves to intoxication, but this is not a yoga process. Krishna has given us nice food, fruits, grains, vegetables, and milk, and we can prepare hundreds and thousands of nice preparations and offer them to the Lord. Our process is to eat Krishna Prasada and to satisfy the tongue in that way, but we should not be greedy and eat dozens of samosas, sweet balls, and rasgullas. No, we should eat and sleep just enough to keep the body fit and no more. It is
Mother,
stated.
Thank you, Mother. Yes. Yeah. Actually, what it is, this one. So there are 2 more pages on the inko section ki, but 8-10 avutundi. It's up to you. You can continue on Monday if you want, or we can spend some more time. It's up to you. What's your idea, thoughts? Let us continue on Monday. Mathais, Prabhu?
Yes.
Yeah, Prabhu.
Yes, please.
Continue on Monday. Prabhupada lastly says, we should keep our body fit and healthy, right? And moderately we have to eat, not like, putting everything in the body and, you all know what happens next. So we have to eat. We have to, Prabhupada writes, how Krishna has given nice food, fruits, grains, vegetables, and milk. We can prepare hundreds and thousands of nice preparations and offer them to Lord. Our process is to Krishna Prasada, to satisfy the tongue in that way. Sevon mukehi jihvado. Right? That is what tongue's business is, to eat, to speaking propensity, right? Tongue is used for speaking propensity and eating propensity. So if we regulate these two, everything will be aligned actually. So here Prabhupada writes this. I mean, initially attracted. I mean, there's so much, the main ISKCON items you all know, right? Khichdi, halwa. Khichdi, halwa. In all our ISKCON temples, we feed them so much for a number of people. But once they come to the process, once they come to the proper practices of the Krishna consciousness, so they have to eat moderately. We should eat and sleep just enough to keep the body fit and no more, it is said, right? Not like Prabhupada writes this, not, one should not be greedy and eat dozens of samosas, sweet balls. Sweet balls is nothing but the other one, ISKCON bullets. You all know, right? What are the ISKCON bullets? Japan Mata, what are the ISKCON bullets? Sweet balls and black balls. Pere padle nenu. రసగుల్లాలు చెప్తున్నాడు ఇక్కడ ఇంకొకడు. యాక్చువల్గా ది మ్యాచ్లెస్ గిఫ్ట్ అని ఫస్ట్ ప్రభుపాద స్టార్ట్ చేసిన టెంపుల్ దగ్గర పెట్టేవాడు ప్రతిరోజు శిల ప్రభుపాద. మంచిగా జార్ల స్వీట్ బాల్స్,
గులాబ్ జామున్
అంతే మొత్తం. గులాబ్ జామున్ సో అది చెప్తున్నట్టు వస్తున్నాను అనమాట. ప్రభుపాద షుడ్ నాట్ బి గ్రీడీ. అంటే ఇనిషియల్లీ పాపం పెట్టాడు, తయారు చేసి పెట్టాడు. బట్ ఓవర్ టైమ్, once they come into the platform, once they regularly practicing devotional service, they need to we need to moderately take prasad. We should eat nicely up to actually there is a principle is given in the Ayurveda also. 50% food, 50% air, 25% air, and 25% water. That's really right. When we take prasadna, we have to apply this principle. 50% of food we have to take, whatever the prasadam is there, and 25% of water, and 25% it has to be empty. At least మొత్తం కడుపు నిండా అంటే అది ఉంటుంది అనమాట. సో 25% ఎయిర్ కొంచెం ఫ్రీ ఉంచాలి బాడీలో, మనం తినే దాంట్లో, మన స్టమక్లో. సో దెన్ దట్స్ a proper moderate food. That's there, that's said in Ayurvedic. I'm not saying it's said in the Ayurvedic. So 50% food, 25% water, and 25% air. Yes. So this is all given. We'll stop here. Actually, again, this sloka Prabhupada quotes. Let me complete this. Yuktahara viharasya, yukta chetasya karmasu, yukta swapnava bodhasya, yoga bhavati dukkha. He who is temperate in his habits of eating, sleeping, working, recreation can mitigate all material pains by practicing the yoga system. Bhagavad-Gita 6.17. Actually, this book, total 119 pages there, actually talks about mostly the yoga system, Ashtanga yoga system. Krishna's explained in the Bhagavad-Gita, those chapters only, but he has explained in elaborately, adding few more paragraphs, purports to those verses. Actually, all these come from Bhagavad-Gita only. Mostly you are seeing, right, 6th chapter verses. So he is explaining, is concluding how, of course, 6th chapter talks about the Ashtanga yoga system, but what is the ultimate yoga system and what is the path of perfection? He concluded that. So it's a preliminary study of Bhagavad-Gita, that kind of book, this one, the path of perfection. Okay, yes, thank you so much for joining today.
Thank you,
Yeah,
Prabhu.
Please join Mondays, Wednesdays, and Friday. 1.5 hour you are giving time to Krishna and Guru Parampara. So definitely it helps in your Krishna consciousness. While all of you are practicing nicely, chanting, reading, hearing. So this is one of the activity which helps to progress further. Okay, thank you so much. We'll see you on Monday. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhyevacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Srila Gurudev ki jai. Nitai Gaura Hari Premanande. Hari Hari Bol. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.